So Stuart and I are here to record a little video to explain why we bought the caravan that we did. We've had lots of questions from friends, relatives and others about why we bought the caravan that we did, what was our process for deciding which one to get. And I will say that Stuart and I were not the most decisive people. In fact, we've been looking at caravans for 5+ years.
Yeah, and in the middle of that we didn't buy a caravan, we bought a boat, which is kind of like a caravan.
But one of the most difficult things for us when we started is that we didn't know what we wanted. And I think one of the things that we've gotten much better at in the last few months before we bought our caravan is we started to get really clear about the things that we wanted in a caravan that then helped us decide what we were going to get.
I think after 5 years of going to the show, if we hadn't done that, we'd still be what I call caravan blind. They all started to look the same.
Yeah.
Why do we buy a new one again and not a second-hand one?
Actually, that's a really good question, because I think Stuart and I were not averse to buying a second caravan. We have so many nice caravans out there, but one of the things we very quickly realized when looking at second-hand caravans were caravans are very personal, and when you see a caravan, it's fitted out for that family or that couple, and they chose for them what was important to them, not necessarily what was important to us. So every time we saw a second caravan, at a decent price, it had 50% of what we were looking for, or 60% of what we were looking for. And it occurred to us that there would be some cost to actually get it to a point where it had all the things that we wanted. So then we started to think, is there actually a caravan out there that has everything that we want, or very close to everything that we want? And there wasn't much of a gap for us to be able to spend to get it to exactly the way we wanted it. And that's how we ended up buying a brand new caravan.
Which brand new caravan did we buy? Go on, tell everybody. The big reveal. I feel like we should have drums.
So if you've watched our previous videos, you'll know that we bought an on-the-move caravan. The caravan that we bought is an Adventure 6.3, MY26, new model Adventure 6.3. And the reason we bought it was we think it has the perfect combination of the ruggedness and the off-road capabilities that we wanted, but also had a lot of the creature comforts that were really important to me. So Stuart, in terms of the Adventure 6.3, what really stood out to you? Because I know the chassis and the suspension was really important.
So yes, the chassis stood out for me because it's engineered steel. It's actually riveted and punched for extra strength, and obviously that also reduces the weight, given that it's a composite van on an engineered steel chassis that's less weight. The fact that it has airbag suspension, and in fact 2 airbags per wheel, stood out to me, mainly because again these are things we'd looked at for other vans and just couldn't find all of it together. And whilst I'm not looking to go down the old Telegraph Road or whatever it's called, we will come across corrugations, we will come across just getting off the bitumen going to the campsite will be rough ground, and when we get there, having airbag suspension means I press a button and the van self-levels. So there's a lot of things there that you kind of go, oh, you don't need it, but it just will make our lives a bit easier.
Well, we never thought we could afford a van with airbag suspension. It's certainly not, it's certainly not common.
No. And then when you dig a bit deeper and you start scratching off that surface layer of the sales brochure, we found out that it came with, a good amount of lithium battery. We've actually spec'd ours to 600 amp hours. It had an awful lot of solar on the roof. We've again increased that. We've gone to 940, and we've gone from a 2000 watt inverter to a 3000 watt inverter. So one of us can use the hairdryer. Don't know who that is.
And I think that was important to us. One of the things that we really were concerned about from watching other people's laps were people worrying about running out of power, and that's something that we really didn't want to do. You know, we're not going to use it, you know, shakeout trips on a weekend, but when we go on our lap, we don't want to have any anxiety about running out of power or water or anything like that, really.
Which leads us nicely into the water compromise that we were talking about with all of the vans we saw.
Yes, and that's something that we saw in a lot of almost every van. You had either a 95 litre freshwater tank, or you had 2, or you had 110. The thing that blew my mind about the Adventure 6.3 is it comes standard with 360 litres of fresh water. That's built into the chassis, so it's protected by that steel, and so you're not worrying about stone chips or, you know, punctures or anything like that. It also has a grey water tank, which means that you can stay in national parks. You're completely compliant. You can take your water away with you. So that again takes away a lot of the anxiety about, will we run out of water? Will we run out of power? And Stuart and I joke about the fact that the thing that's probably going to limit us for how long we can stay off grid is going to be how quickly we fill up our toilet cassettes.
So maybe off-grid with toilets.
Yeah.
So the next, I suppose, thorny issue, and the ones you get the most questions about on the forums when you're doing your research is your Caravan Australian made? Well, our Caravan is Australian made in the same way that the best-selling car in Australia is. The Ford Everest isn't made in Australia, but it was designed and researched and is tuned to Australia. Our Caravan is made in China. It's shipped over here for what I would call final fix, where electrics and batteries and all of that stuff is added in Yatala in Queensland. And, you know, that's pretty common these days, right? You know, even the Australian-made caravans aren't all Australian made unless we've started to make fridges and microwaves and air conditioning units in Australia.
And can I just say, as someone who was born and raised until I was 17 in Asia, I don't have an aversion to Asian made goods. You know, made in China or made in Asia, made anywhere. The quality to me has been good. I understand the desire for people to buy Australian made. Our boat was made here, and we fully support buying Australian made, but we had a budget, and there were things that we wanted to get that were really important and a priority to us. And
that priority list of made in Australia was actually quite low down.
Yes,
yeah,
it was.
We had to get stuff that worked for us.
That's right. We're going to live in it.
Yeah, we are.
I think that's the thing that was really important. We had a list of things after all the research we'd done. The things that would fit our lifestyle became mandatory requirements, right? So these are the things we absolutely had to have. These were nice to have, and getting so close to that checklist became really important. We wanted to make sure there was enough power, there was enough water, there was enough inverter power so I could dry my hair. We wanted there to be comfort in the Caravan, but we knew there would be compromises. We weren't going to get everything we wanted. We loved slide out. We loved the idea of a slide out, but wanted to be pragmatic about the fact that we were going to be living in it, we were going to be traveling in it. So it became really clear to us what was important and what wasn't important for it to support our lifestyle. And I think this van just ticked the boxes of what was important to us.
And you know, that 5 to 7 years worth of research and buying the boat in the middle of it, because we got caravan blind. That's the new term I'm going to use now, caravan blind. It was a tough decision, you know, not only just to keep going to caravan shows and always ending up at the Essential exhibition, and then always looking at everything else and ending up back at Essential, to see something different, something that we didn't think we could afford, that we could, that fitted pretty much everything. There isn't a compromise in this van that we've found yet. We may do after we buy it, but we haven't found a compromise yet. So yes, it was a tough decision, but the right decision. I'm very excited about getting it as our Christmas present this year, because it should arrive just before Christmas.
Well, that's the plan. We joke about the fact that we were looking for 5 years. We're once we saw it, we knew.
Yeah,
We knew.
just like the boat.
Yeah, we just knew. There was, exactly the same with the boat. We went looking at many boats, and then when we saw the boat that we saw, and never did we regret getting that boat. And I'm hoping it's going to be the same for this caravan, because before we went to the show, Stuart said to me, before we went to that particular show, Stuart said to me, "We're not buying a caravan today, Janice." And I thought, well, we never buy a caravan. I'm not going to happen. He says, "You can't buy a caravan until we've sold the boat." I went, yeah, that's fine. And then when we walked past this particular caravan, I pointed it out to Stuart. Stuart goes, keep walking. We can't afford it. We ended up going in, having a look, talking to the salesman. And Stuart was sitting there, and I was saying to the salesman, no, look, we're not buying anything today. Stuart said I can't until we've sold the boat. And then I look over to you, and what did you say?
I could be convinced.
And convinced he was, because we signed the contracts about 30 minutes later.
For expensive forwards.
So yes, we're very excited and very, very appreciative that of all the people on YouTube who helped with our research.
Yes, just really a shout out to everyone who contributes into YouTube for the stuff that we're consuming, and we are consuming it at a vast rate. Yeah, be it Grey Nomads, be it the Feel Good family, be it any of the other people that are out there. You are teaching me things every day. I had no idea what GCM and GVM and toe ball weight was, TBM, before we started this research. And I probably should have looked 5 years ago, but I didn't. And not only the stuff that you're educating us on around towing and around the legalities of it and the right wing mirrors for the vehicle that we're going to tow with, but also where to go. Yeah, we've subscribed. We bought Wiki Camps. Yeah. And every time we see one of your little shorts or one of your videos about where you are and what you're doing, we immediately go in and go, that's where we want to visit. That's where we want to visit. Yes. So a big shout out and thank you. It really means a lot to us to be able to have access to this kind of information, and we're very thankful. And hopefully when our time comes and you watch our videos, we can do the same and give back. Are you excited? Very. Excited for the adventures we're going to take? I am more excited now about Christmas than I was when I was 7 and I got electronic battleships. Which was a great gift, apart from I was a single child, so didn't really well, this time he gets to go with me. I did. So that's true. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching all our videos. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you want to follow, we're sort of in a waiting zone at the moment, aren't we? So we want to keep talking and making content, but until we get our van. They have to like as well, they can't just subscribe. I've watched enough videos now to go, you're supposed to like and you're supposed to subscribe. I don't know why, but we do. But yes, thank you for watching. Thank you. And we'll be back soon with more things to talk about. It's called content. It's called content. More content. Thank you, everyone.